Hello, my name is Mariana and this is a reading for Capricorn. And so Capricorn, I've done your reading with my own deck, one that I made a few years ago. So the cards you'll see are from this deck. And Capricorn, your reading feels very mystical, but also, a mystical experience that you're about to walk into, knowingly choosing this mystical ritual or this experience, this immersion. I feel like there's been like this call, but there is a little bit, it's not a resistance on your part, it's just this anxiety building up in you of anticipation about what you're about to walk into, right? I feel like you have a sense that whatever it is, it's something big, but I feel like somehow you're, each step that you're taking there, it's like you're slowing down just to, it's like, it's not fear of what you're going to find. It feels to me like some kind of awareness on your part about the bigness of it or the significance of it, right? So we start off with the Nine of Wands, and it's interesting because this card figured very prominently on the Sagittarius reading too, about being a bridge to be built, right? But being, a wobbly a wobbly bridge that it's still in potential. And it's interesting because when it jumped out, especially with the card that followed, which is actually the Fool, which in fact was another card that was in Sagittarius extended, talking about, following this path, building this bridge and walking it, right? But it's interesting because the way that I was seeing was not that you were looking too far ahead. It's almost like I saw you looking at your own 2 feet and slowing down each step, or taking just shorter steps, because it's almost like this bridge that you're walking towards a place that maybe you have a sense of what you're about to walk into, but not really, right? You have a sense of expectation and it feels very exciting with the Fool, but at the same time it triggers some sort of anxiety or just this butterflies in your stomach, right? But because you're taking care, you're just watching each step that you take, even though this bridge, which feels very, well, the way that it came to me was like you're walking an invisible bridge. So each step of the way with the Fool, although the Fool has to be bold, you being this Fool, Capricorn, you have to trust that even though you're not seeing where you're stepping, right? Because this came as an invisible bridge, you have to trust that there's going to be somewhere to land, right? That the next step is granted, that that you can trust, right? Because it feels to me with this bridge, it feels like there is a specific destination that you're supposed to get to. And it's interesting because after the Fool came the Tower, and it's really beautiful actually, because what I was seeing was almost like this bridge leading to the tower or a castle or some sort of sacred place, right? And you as a Fool just walking down here, being this one, you as a Fool being this one in the center, walking towards this tower. And it's not coming as a tower moment as in a negative or a destructive experience, or overwhelming experience. It's just that you, in a sense, your reaction or your instinct to focus on your feet, right, looking down, it's like that this bridge, even though it is invisible, you're not looking at it, you are looking at your feet, but you don't really see where you're stepping onto, right? It feels like this leap, but each step is a leap, because there is your, your intuition or your sense of anticipation is that there is this sacred space, this very significant place that, you expect it to be very guarded, you expect it to be very well protected. And so, in comparison, it feels like it's almost like you have to have an invitation to access it, right? And so it's almost like this sense of being very, very humble and almost just simple, a very, very, it's like you're diminishing yourself, you're questioning your own value to enter this space, right? But I feel like, as I said, it's almost like this bridge being invisible, but you knowing that this is the bridge that you have to cross because you're supposed to get to this tower, right? It's almost like you have received, it is implied here that you have received the invitation, even though you sense that this is very sacred or very well protected, as I said, right? For few people, so not everyone is allowed in, right? But you are, it's almost like you have been called there. You have been called inside this tower. And so you are going, but you're just being very, very careful. And it's a paradox because you're being careful, it's almost like you're extending each step just to savor the path there, right? It's almost like you're so curious about this bridge, this invisible bridge, that you just want to investigate it. So each step you're taking, yes, boldly, yes, trusting that you're going to be taken care of in a sense, but you're curious. This path is triggering this curiosity in you. It's almost like this, it's like this beginner's mind with a fool, that everything seems so interesting and so different and so unexpected and so magical in a sense, right? And so sacred also, that you want to savor this path before you get there, because there is this sense of overwhelm also once you cross this doorway. So whatever is inside this tower with the Ace of Wands, which is actually very interesting, and it just came to me, it wasn't apparent to me until now. So here you are crossing this bridge, just believing that this invisible bridge is here, that this all this potential is guiding you towards the place that you're meant to be, because of whatever is inside, because it resonates with you. See? So you are the bridge there, because whatever is inside, that I'm going to go into it because it's really beautiful, but whatever is inside, it's what it is already in you. You see? That's why you're trusting that this invisible bridge is taking you to the right place, to the place that you're meant to be, because this thing inside is calling you there, right? And so the Ace of Wands today for you, Capricorn, came as a tree of knowledge. And it's very beautiful because when I saw the tower and the Ace of Wands, I saw this beautiful tree, this one tree, majestic tree, right? Very ancient, but protected by these walls. And you see the doorway here. It's almost like there is actually no door. It's only a doorway. It's only a passage, right? And what I was seeing was almost like a ruin, right? Just, a tower where only the walls remained, right? So this ruin is protecting this tree that holds a lot of ancient knowledge, right? And is a knowledge that it's it's like so what I'm hearing now is like you can only know it when you touch it. You can only know it when you get near it, right? So this is the reason why you're being called there, right? You have to be, you know, side by side or face to face with it. You have to touch it. And you know, this is a symbol, obviously. You can apply it to, if it resonates, to whatever is inside some sacred place that it's calling you, right, Capricorn? So it's beautiful because it first presented itself as a tree of knowledge, a very beautiful and just majestic tree. It's how it's coming through. It was gorgeous and such a peaceful place, right? And protected by the walls of this tower or this ruin. But then it shifted. It was actually very beautiful because the tree became a very beautiful flame. And the words that came through were, so the tree of knowledge is actually the spark of knowledge. So this is the point where I feel like once you touch this symbol, this thing that it's calling you, it's almost like it ignites you, it shifts, it transforms you in a very deep way, because it becomes this flame, it becomes this ignition like in your soul, right? It's so beautiful. And I feel like somehow it changes you from that moment on. And it's really interesting because this is something that came through in another reading also. I think it wasn't the Leo reading, but this is different because this is not a connection with other people. I feel like this is a place, a very sacred place, or a tree, right? Or a flame, but either way. So with the three cards that are following this Ace of Wands, so the Seven of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Swords, this is where I feel like, you know, as I said, and I'm being like just corrected right now because I was talking about how this is not actually meeting other people, but I feel like at some point other people will appear, and it's not like they will come to you. How I'm seeing it's like they will appear. So the Ace of Wands, when it transforms from the tree of knowledge into the flame of knowledge, right? I feel like the setting changes because, you know, as I said, the tower felt more like a ruin, right? With no doors, but just a doorway, and no ceilings, you know, just these walls guarding this sacred tree, right? But then when the Seven of Pentacles came, you know, with this shift into the flame, with this spark that now is in you, Capricorn, I feel like these walls, it's almost like they burn to the ground and they become a stone of circles, a circle of stones, sorry, a circle of stones. And it's almost like there are already two characters there, and I feel like it's like a circle of women, of, you know, they're presenting as high priestesses, like as, you know, witches, or some sort of very sacred ritual for women. It's coming through very specifically like that, but apply it to your situation if it resonates. So it feels to me like the ruin that you saw before, right, as the tower, this is just the perception. It's like this is the way that actually they protect the tree, right, as these walls, right, as a ruin. But in reality, it's not a ruin, right? This is what I mean. It's like it's a stone, it's a circle of stones. So although it could be, you know, because the ruin implies that it has been sacred but now is no longer, and what is these 3 cards are showing me is that it is still active. This sacred place is still active, right? But only to those, you know, for them and for you now, which you're taking your place. It's almost like you're the new member, right? And you know it. That's why you were being bold enough to keep going on this bridge, but also knowing how significant it was, even though you didn't know that this is what was really going on, right, behind the walls of the ruin. But it's almost like, so this is the protection mechanism, right? For outside eyes, it's only a ruin, it's only a tree. But for those with the eyes to see, this is actually a very sacred circle of stones, which still hold a lot of sacred ground and sacred rituals, and, you know, very significant energy or atmosphere, right? Because these 2 queens are almost like these elders that are greeting you, that are receiving you, that are, you know, showing your place within this circle of women, perhaps, right? And so this is where we end this part of your reading. It feels, you know, oh, okay, yeah, one more thing. So with the 2 queens, right, what I was going to say is that, you know, one of them being the Queen of Cups and the other the Swords, it feels like they have 2 different approaches to you, right? One being like a mother figure and the other is coming as a grandmother. It's almost like there is a hierarchy, but them both coming as queens, it's almost like you sense that there is a hierarchy between the rest of the group that is already seated, and you're taking your place as a novice, right? As a newcomer. I don't know if that's how you say it, but anyways. So, but in a sense, there is, you know, if I would have to say which one is the oldest, I would say the Queen of Swords is the oldest, and then the Queen of Cups. But both of them, it's almost like, it's like, oh, this is, okay. So this one has a younger heart, and this heart has been, you know, has been through more experiences. You know, they have more wisdom in a sense that this one is still learning as you are. You know, it's almost like you're seeing in them your own process of self-development, of, you know, just how much you have to learn from them, right? So yeah, this is where we end this part of your reading, Capricorn. I'm going to pull more cards for you, and also I'm going to pull from the astrological runes as a final guidance. So if you want to come to the extended with me, I'll be happy to see you. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.